विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहनः भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 47 तमेव धीरो विज्ञाय प्रज्ञां कुर्वीत ब्राह्मणः नानुद्यायात् बहून् शब्दान् वाचो विग्लापनं हि तत्. So from verse number 38 to 66 we have a main teaching of this chapter, which is nothing but a Brahmajnanena Jivadvaita Nivrittihi. Means initially pointed out that Ishvara Srushta Dvaitam is not, cannot be removed. First thing. Need not be removed. Second thing. And Ishvara Srushta Dvaitam should not be removed. Third thing. Can't be removed, need not be removed, should not be removed. And therefore let the Ishvara Srushta Dvaitam will be there. Ishvara Srushti will be there and it will be there. We cannot destroy also. But Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, well, one should carry out. And that is sufficient. And how will you do this nivritti of a Jiva Srushta Dvaitam? Well, how will you eliminate this Dvaitam? Brahmajnanena, well, by the only one means, that is Brahmajnanam, one can remove this Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. So up to verse 42, well, he gives this introduction to this topic. Then verse 43 onwards, he started narrating what is Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. Then elimination. We will talk about elimination. And so this Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, it should be, it's of two types. First is a Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. Second is a Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. So Shastriya Dvaitam, well, to be retained initially. Ashastriya Dvaitam to be removed immediately. So he's showing a difference in Jiva Srushta Dvaitam in order to eliminate one thing immediately and other thing need not be removed immediately. Other Dvaitam means Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam is very helpful initially and therefore should not be removed immediately. So, we saw the example of even fruit, etc. That like a skin of the fruit, well, is very important in initial stage. If skin is there, fruit is ripened, otherwise it cannot ripen. Well, you cannot, even if you want to remove the skin when the fruit is not ripe, it is very difficult also. You should not do, you can't do, and you need not do. What? This skin nivritti. Skin nivritti should not be done when the fruit is not ripe. Once the fruit is ripe, well, it's very easy to remove this skin. And it should be removed also. Skin should be removed also. At that time, you should not argue that because of the skin only the fruit has got, fruit has ripened. And now that's how I'm able to enjoy this fruit which is sweet. And therefore, well, I don't want to remove the skin. You have to remove the skin. That kind of a gratitude should not be there towards the skin. I should be grateful to the skin because it has made this fruit ripe. Well, you should not think of like that. So then if you don't, you will have to eat with the skin, which will be very difficult. Some of the fruits you can eat with the skin, but some of the fruits you can't eat. Like oranges, etc. You can't eat, I am sure. And therefore, so skin has to be removed. If you argue like that, well, the skin, because of the skin only the fruit has ripened, and therefore I should eat along with the skin, and otherwise skin will become meaningless. If I remove it, then I will throw away the skin, which was so helpful to make the fruit ripe. Well, and otherwise now if I remove it, it becomes meaningless. That kind of an argument you should not do. And so remove the skin and enjoy the fruit. Similarly, Jiva Sushta Dvaitam also is like that. Is like a skin only. And it will make you ripe. You are a fruit. It will make it will make you ripe. Any kind of experiences in the life, all are helpful. All are helpful to make the person ripe, really, make mature, I mean. And so, Shastra Jiva Dvaitam also should be retained in initial stages. And once a person has used this Guru, Shastra, etc. and gained Jnanam, then Guru Shastra etc. is not required. So one should renounce both of them also later. And this renunciation of Guru or Shastra etc. is not physical. I mean, physically you throw away the books. Physically you go away from the teacher etc. It is not like that. I mean, you don't hang on basically, or you don't have emotional dependence on both, either Guru or a Shastra. So, they may be there or they may be around physically, may not be there, or they may be around also. Well, it does not make a difference to you, because it has served the purpose. Both have served the purpose. Why it? They have served the purpose. Guru also has served a purpose. Shastra also has served the purpose. And if you have a time, well, and books are there, keep reading. If books are not there, well, give it up. So, Guru may be around physically or not physically, it does not make a difference. So, emotional non-dependence is called renunciation. And, Vidyaranya now shows that even renunciation of Guru or Shastra can be done. Well, it is very bold thing to say like that on the part of Vidyaranya. So, he says, well, I will quote few Upanishads, etc., which says clearly that after using this Guru and Shastra for gaining knowledge, for making yourself ripe, mature, emotionally mature, well, you can, after you gain it, well, you gain maturity, etc., you can give it up. So, Shastra says, reject me after using me. Similarly, Guru also says, don't hang around me. Be free, like that. So Upanishad quotations are given in support, and we have seen in verse number 45, we already saw this. In verse 45, we saw the quotation of a Amrita Bindu Upanishad. And in verse 46, it was a Brahma Bindu Upanishad. And in verse 47, it is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And so all the three quotations we actually saw. And right now we are seeing verse number 47. And in that it is told, Brahmanaha dhiraha tam eva vijnaya. So, Brahmana means the person who is having a mind which is sattvic. And dhiraha, who is having a viveka, etc., means one who is having a qualification, sadhan chatusha sampatti. Tam atmanam vijnaya, knowing that atma. Knowing that atma means listening and to the scriptures, exposing oneself to the scriptures, and doing mananam also. So that is called vijnaya. Tam atmanam vijnaya means doing shravanam and mananam regarding the self. Prajnam kurvita, well, don't stop up to shravanam and mananam. Prajnam kurvita means try to assimilate through nididhyasanam also. And so everyone should, they always say, everyone should breathe Vedanta, should not just talk Vedanta. Teacher also should not talk Vedanta, he should breathe Vedanta. And same way here also, I mean, without nididhyasanam, knowledge will not be assimilated. We have seen that in detail also. So, I mean, na anudhyayan bahun shabdan. One should not see that one should not, na anudhyayan bahun shabdan. But afterwards, one should not be addicted to Shastra also. And otherwise also, one should not be addicted to other Shastras, especially Dvaita Shastra. Dvaita Shastram, like Tarka and Mimamsa and Vyakaranam and Mimamsa, Yoga and other things, Each Shastra is intellectually stimulating, really. Once you start studying Yoga Sutras and with the Mahabhashya, etc., you find it is, with commentary, not Mahabhashya, but with commentary, etc., well, then definitely you find it very, very stimulating. Vyakarana Shastra, if you really, I tell you, if you start studying Panini and if you have interest, then if you start, doing that study in the night around 10:30, then I tell you, you won't get sleep later. It's a real problem. It's a stimulating, very much. Same way Sankhya and many things. Mimamsa also is like that. Tarka, logic also is like that. So, na anudhyayan bahun shabdan means all these are Dvaita Shastras. Well, they should not be studied at all. Or if you study, well, they should be given up later. So, like just as a music and art, makes the person addict. Same way, this Mimamsa and grammar and logic and all this can make person addict. So that's how here says, na anudhyayat bahun shabdan. Anudhyayat means don't study. Bahun shabdan means many words. Many words here means this Dvaita Shastras. So even if you have time, don't study this stardust, because it's a dusty thing, So stardust. Here you may not be having it in America. Here it is there. Stardust is regarding the stars. All this, all stars means all these filmy actors and all that. And it is dust. In fact, that's really a dust. And sometimes it's very amazing. In this stardust, they talk about one heroine, and one actor, and the other actor, female actors, And in between, they give a small writing about some Swami. This is something really, but a good thing about Swami. But it doesn't make, it's a poor Swami is switched between these two. Anyway, so this is how Bahun Shabdan Nad Anudhyaya should not be studied at all. Why? Because Vacho Viglapanam Hitat, that means that is that kind of a study, such exercise, that study, will weaken your throat. So nothing will happen but your cough will increase. Nothing will happen, because this kind of thing, this study will not be much helpful. So Vachaha means here it's a sixth case of the Vach Shabda. Chakarantaha Vach Shabda, Strilingaha, and this is sixth case, singular, Vachaha. So Vagindriyasya, you can say. Well, Viglapanam means a weakening. There is a root called Glayati, and that Glayati means to weaken. And this word, very, very popular word, Glanihi. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati. Bhagavan said, whenever the dharma becomes weaker in the society, well, I come as avatar, etc. So here, glai from it is a viglapanam. So upasarga is there, and it's a causal root. Glapayati means to make someone weaker. So viglapanam means making something weaker. What this Dvaita Shastras will make weaker what? Will make weaker our own throat. And so that's how it has been told here. Anyway, so Shastra itself says that once you become mature, then all this you can give it up, including even other things also. Other things also can be given up. Further, once you gain a knowledge and gain nishtha, afterwards, study of the Upanishad, etc. is just academic exercise. That's how people do also. Some people do. Maybe possible that even the person even has not gained a clarity gain clarity but not a nishtha, etc., not assimilated knowledge. And people start doing a comparative study of the commentaries and everything. They keep on studying whole life like that. So that is not going to be helpful. And other Shastras also, all Dvaita Shastras also can be given up. Let's go to verse number 48. Tamevaikam vijanitha yanya vacho vimunchata yachedvang manasi prajnyaha ityadya shrutaya sputaha. Now some more Shruti quotations are there. We have seen Amrita Bindu Upanishad, Brahma Bindu Upanishad, and lastly in the verse 47 we saw Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the quotation. Now he's quoting some two more Shruti quotations are there here. First is a Mundaka Upanishad 2 to 5, and he is quoting from the middle part of that mantra, Tameva Ekam Vijanitha Anyavacho Vimunchatha. The mantra starts with Araiva Rathanabahu, etc. etc. So in that, this is the middle portion. Tam Ekam Eva Vijanitha. May you dedicate your entire life only for one particular purpose. Well, all other things are there. What is the purpose? We will see. All other are there actually if they directly, indirectly lead to this goal. Every action is actually designed in such a way that it leads to this goal. Goal is moksha, you know very well. So, and that is karma yoga, etc. Even most materialistic actions also will be converted to most spiritual actions just by changing the attitude. That's how karma yoga is a versatile thing actually. We feel karma yoga involves Panchamaha yajnas, etc. And if I don't do Panchamaha yajnas, therefore I am not doing karma yoga. That's not correct. Whatever you are doing, starting from the eating, which is a very gross action, and all the things, whatever you are doing in your waking state, all the activities can be converted to karma yoga. Just because there is a difference in attitude, and that attitude will make the karma into karma yoga. And that is why in Brahma Sutra also we have a Sarvapeksha Adhikaran. Sarvapeksha Yajnadi Shrutehe Ashvavat. Sarvapeksha Nyaya was there. And it's a principle. Nyaya means it's a principle where Vyasacharya ji also discussed this thing, that any action can be converted into for your elevation by changing your attitude to Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Means you do the activity in the world for the sake of some person or something in the world. Instead, the world is looked upon as a god, and so whatever you do is basically is a dedication. It's a dedicated action towards the Isha. That's all. That's it. Karma yoga means your attitude is whatever you are doing, don't see them you are doing for a particular person or something. While you are doing, or for an institution or anything, you are doing it for Ishvara, because everything is ultimately Ishvara. That's the truth. Whether you know or not, it's a different issue, but that's the truth, that the whole creation is Ishvara. Logically, we have Shastra establishes also that Abhinna Nimitto Padana Karanam. Ishvara is a Nimitta Karanam, efficient cause and material cause also. So whatever is there is Ishvara ultimately. And therefore Puja Swami's statement is, what is Ishvara. And therefore is there for everything. Book is, this is, that is. What is Ishvara. And therefore ultimately this is an attitude. It's a background knowledge of Ishvara. With that knowledge, person's attitude towards any activity will change. Starting from, basically I told you, the eating food, etc. Even eating food is Shastra, Upanishad itself describes it as a Pranagni-hotram. So basically, Pranagni-hotram means basically you take the food, you swallow the food, and it is nothing but an offering to Vaishwanara. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashitah. So this is a grossest action, eating, etc., but can be converted into action which is helpful for driving you towards moksha. It will automatically, even without of course, you should be aware that you should be a mumukshu and you should be jignasu also, that is correct. But afterwards, your own attitude behind the action will definitely give you a smooth sail towards that goal. That's a very wonderful thing, because your attitude is changing, and that change brings down obstacles called Ragadvesha, etc. And automatically you become a qualified person, and definitely you are having an exposure to the Shastra. And now, earlier those Shastras exposure was there, Shravanam, etc. was going on, but was not working well, was not so successful because of the obstacles. And now with the change in attitude in the Karma Yoga, etc., Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, etc., since your obstacles are getting neutralized rather, And so you automatically, the same Shravanam becomes effective for you. So this is how it is. So you are automatically driven towards moksha. So whatever I do in my life is basically for that purpose. That's a single sankalpa in the morning person does. Yadyat karma karomi tattad akhilam shambho tavaradhanam. Whatever I do today in my life, you have given me one more day and I have to work in the world, and well, I am working for you. I am not working for the world. I am not working for an institute. I am not working for a person. I am not working for a family. I am working for Ishvara. Well, that's attitude. Change in attitude brings the whole change. And so getting married and getting children and their education and their marriage and then their children's babysitting and all of them, well, should be converted to a spiritual progress. I mean, so that is how we always say. Some of the people have that complaint basically that Swamiji, we are not able to do Panchamahayagnas, we are not able to do this type of activity, this type of activity. Well, we are not able to do some social services and this and that. Need not be. Whatever you are doing, don't add any karma. Honestly, don't add any karma into that. Whatever you are doing, even you are doing for your own sake, well, rather than for your own sake, tell that it is for the sake of Ishvara. That's all. How can you say but it is for the sake of Ishvara? Well, I am doing for my sake. Yeah, but this for the body also is Ishvara. And Ishvara alone, this is a temple actually. Deho devalaya proktaha, jivo devas sanatanaha, tyajed ajnana nirmalyam soham bhavena pujayit. Even in puja also we do that. Dehaha devalaya. This deha, this physical body is a temple actually. And because the Ishvara resides here, it is manifested, right? We know that. And therefore, ultimately, whatever you are doing for your own sake, or for your own body, etc., your mind, etc., ultimately everything is Ishvara, and therefore you can convert any action into Karma Yoga. Anyway, so ultimately, so tam ekameva vijanitha, here it says, tam ekameva vijanitha. Ultimately, you should know that there is only one thing in your life as a goal, and that is moksha. And so moksha is not the greatest purushartha. Some people say moksha is the greatest purushartha. Hey, moksha is not the greatest purushartha. Moksha is purushartha. That's all. Moksha is the purushartha. Some people say dharma, artha, kama and moksha. 4 goals are there. For every human being, ultimately there are 4 goals. There are 4 goals. Yeah. If 4 goals are there, you have not done discrimination. Viveka is not there actually. The goal is only moksha. And therefore, tam ekameva. The person, for such a person, in his life, he thinks that there is only one goal for a human being, and that is freedom. That's all. Independence is a goal. That's all. Outer independence has no value. Nation gets independence and this and that and a long history and all that for getting independence and all. Not much. The inner, freedom or the independence is actually the independence. That's how even a person is free. Right? Like India is, Gandhiji worked hard and we got independence, and America also like that maybe. I don't know much history about getting independence, other countries, etc. But what I am saying is, it doesn't solve the problem. Person is still crying day in and day out. Even with the external independence, person is keep crying. Then what is the use? Ultimately, the inner independence or inner freedom is the freedom, and that makes the life beautiful. That makes life beautiful. Outer independence does not make life beautiful. You may have a certain freedom in terms of your expression, your thoughts, and etc. But really speaking, this is the freedom. So tam ekam eva vijanitha. And here vijanitha actually, this is a Madhyama Purusha, this is a present tense. Madhyama Purusha hai bahuvachanam. And it has to be converted into imperative mode. Because this is a command. May you know that you have just one goal in your life and work for that, etc., etc. So this is a command. So it is not a present tense actually. There should be an imperative mood kind of a thing. So the present tense should be converted into a imperative mood. And that kind of arrangement is there. Lut is converted to lot, etc. So here Vijanitha is there. Second tha is there. Well, you have to convert into first ta. So Vijanita you have to convert. So that is because it is a command. Anya vacho vimunchatha. Anything that you do, any sadhana, etc. Now, other than gaining moksha, I mean Shravan Manana Nidhyasanam or Karma Yoga, etc. Other than that, whatever you are doing, please drop it. That's what they say. Anya vacho vimunchatha, like a hot potato. So don't read all kinds of magazines and all kind of thing. Don't spend hours and hours on WhatsApp and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all that. Hours. But once you take this into hand, well, time flies. when you see when you take away your face and see the time again, or by the time 2 hours has gone. So this is how it is. This is all. Anya vacha means what? But Swamiji, vacha means words. And where is there in Twitter? Then in Twitter, what is there? Please tell me. Other than words, what is there? In Facebook, what is there? Everywhere words are there. Any scripture, anything you study, ultimately words are there. And so basically, anya vacho vimunchatha, well, you give up. Vimunchatha. Again, this vimunchatha is a present tense. Madhyama Purusha Bahuvachanam. Convert into imperative mood, because Shastra is commanding, giving you a command that give up. Anya vacha vimunchatha. Give up all worthless words. Magazines and TV programs and whatnot. Thousands and thousands of things are going on. And not just, this is what I am talking about is other than the scriptures, that we can give it up. But even the scriptures also we should give it up. Like as I told you, the logic and Sankhya and Mimamsa and etc. And even Vyakaranam also, all this. You should have sufficient knowledge but to inquire, but then later one should give it up. Not all the time one should keep on studying all these things. So vimunchatha and vachaha vimunchatha. So vacha is an object of this verb vimunchatha. Vacha is a dvitiya bahuvachanam, right? Vach, chakaranta is strilinga and dvitiya bahuvachanam vachaha, etc. Vak vacho vachaha, vacham vacho vacha. So this is how the form. So vacha is an object of the verb vimunchatha. And here vimunchatha, that second tha should be converted to the first tha. Vimunchata. That's a lot, imperative mood. Madhyama Purusha Bahuvachan. So one should give up all this Dvaita Shastram, including grammar and other things. And Anyaha. But then if we have to give up grammar, etc., then why are you giving grammar points? You are telling Anyaha means so you are trying to create an interest in a grammar. And now, on the other hand, you are saying you give it up grammar also. That's how I say. If you are going to be a teacher, I am telling you very openly. If you are going to be a teacher of the Vedanta, etc., you have to study. There is no way out. But if you don't have such goal of teaching others, then you need not bother also, really speaking. And still, if you have some time and have a facility, etc., infrastructure is there, study little bit, no problem. But teachers have to study properly, because they have to, basically unlock the meanings proper, in a proper way. Then that confidence will be there in a teacher, because he is handling Shastra. And so he should be confident. And therefore vimunchatha itself, he doesn't know what is this. It is a verb or it is a noun itself is his problem. then it won't work. So therefore in a course, etc., they always introduce, Puja Swamiji designed a course in such a way that even grammar also will be there. Of course, Swamiji was keeping away the logic, because that creates other issues. So he used to keep away the logic, etc. And because he was feeling that the logic what we have in our Shastra and during the classes, etc., is sufficient. And moreover, logic is already, the logical reasoning, etc., is there in a person, because most of the formal education gives that kind of infrastructure now in today's society. And therefore, we don't require the traditional logic, etc., Tarka Sangra, etc., should not be studied. And but grammar, Sanskrit grammar is required, because the Shastra is in Sanskrit language. And therefore, one should study properly, so that one can have a confidence while teaching others. So the people who are going to, for them I am giving a message, the people who are going to teach, that goal is there in their life to teach Shastra, etc. They have to study. But ultimately, then don't hang on to that. Swamiji, I studied Laghu Siddhanta Kaubudhi. I would like to study now Madhyama. Or I would like to study entire, they call Kaumudi. And then I would like to study this whole Panini along with the Mahabhashya. Habba. Then by the time you will be 80-year-old. So there is no scope for Vedanta at all. So people hang on to that. People hang on to any scripture, they hang on to that. That's what Anya Vacho Vimunchyata. Give it up. So, and Anyaha also Akarantaha Strilingaha. Same, because it's a Visheshana. It's an adjective to Vachaha, so Dvitiya Bhavachanam. Always Visheshana and Visheshya, adjective and substantive, will be in the same case and same Vachanam, etc. Okay, so this is Mundaka Upanishad. And as I told you, in this verse, two more quotations Vidyaranya gives. One is of that Mundaka Upanishad. Second is a Kathopanishad, 3.13, Yached Vang Manasi Pragneha, etc. etc. Here Upanishad says, well, may you withdraw your speech into your mind. May you restrain your speech. One of the first spiritual sadhanam is Vagindriya Nigraha. They say mouth discipline is the biggest discipline. That is in two aspects actually. That's how they are saying. Mouth discipline means actually, because mouth is two types of mouths are there. One is a speaking mouth and other is a eating mouth. Both. So restraint in both are required. In both restraint in both is required. So if you control this, well, basically you have a mouth discipline, then you progress very fast spiritually. So both quality wise and quantity wise. First quality control, and then first quantity control, and then quality control. So unless you do a quantity control, you cannot control qualitatively. That's for sure. So first control quantitatively. If you are speaking, if you want to express your idea, and earlier you were using 10 sentences, and now you can express within five sentences better. That is better. So first quantitative control. Once you control the thing quantitatively, then you will be able to control the same thing qualitatively. Quality control will not be the first. Quantity control will be the first. Okay. So first reduce noise pollution. They always, one Swami used to always say like that. Reduce noise pollution. So you can contribute in a reduction of pollution. And that is plastic and other things we are throwing here and there. Well, you are able to control, but this is noise pollution also you can control. And then quality control will be there. So Vak Manasi, withdraw the speech into the mind, then mind into Buddhi, Buddhi into Atma, and abide quietly into your true nature. So this is in Kathopanishad, very beautiful mantra is there, 3.13, that is the number. So Vang Manasi means Vakcha Manasya Vang Manasi, that's a Dvandva Samasa. So learn to sit quietly for some time, and once you sit quietly, many things from your mind are thrown out actually. That is what happens. That's how people don't want. People don't want to sit quietly, because if they sit quietly, things come out. Starting from the childhood to the married life to everything comes out. And once it comes out, you feel it's a big threat. It's actually just it's a picture. It's just image. Nothing else. It has no reality. In fact, your body is much more real than that. It is just an image. But still you feel so much threatened with that. People have a lot of fear of the past, and therefore basically that's how a person doesn't want to sit quietly. He wants to be with the people, talking all the time, etc. etc. And so allow all of them to go out of your mind. This is called in Mandukya, it is called a Kashaya actually. This is called Kashaya. This is a Kashaya problem. So Kashayam Vijaniyat, Acharya Gaudapada Acharya ji also said that once you sit quietly like this, then past painful experiences which come out during this quietude, and allow them to go. We have discussed if you remember, I think in the last part of the Kenopanishad discussion, we have discussed about unconscious, etc. And I'm just reminding you that when you sit quietly, at least for Nidhyasanam, etc., these things are going to prop up. And everyone has. No one should feel that, oh, I am having a very heavy unconscious. Everyone has a heavy unconscious. And a person feels that he is very light. That is his feeling. But actually, everyone mind is loaded actually. So much things are there. And since it is unmanifest, people are not aware of their own past, etc. So many things are there. So one should not feel low about this. One has to face it and let it go out. It is coming up in order to go out. And when it is coming up to the surface in the mind, people just get up from that immediately. Then it just goes back into your mind only. And then, so better sit and it comes out. And sometime when it comes out, person may cry, person may do sometime a funny behavior also, or sometime may get anger, too much of anger because of a painful experience of the past. These things are going to happen, but one has to deal with it. Gaudapada Acharya, how he was knowing, I don't know, but our acharyas, they have idea of everything. Anyway, so and once it goes out well, you can then think of Pancadasi. Otherwise, it's very difficult, right? So ityadyaha vakyani shrutayaha sputaha. Vakyani I am adding shrutayaha. Ityadyaha shrutayaha sputaha. They are very clear. Such shruti vakyas clearly say what they do. They say that Shastra should be used and then transcended. Use and throw. Swamiji, that is not good. Use and throw. Use and throw. Yeah, use and throw. Use and throw. So I thought Vedantis will not have this kind of a selfish attitude. Use and throw. Take the person's, use the person and then throw away that person. Then another person hold on to that, then throw away that. And you are also advising in the midst of this Panchadashi, you are advising use and throw. Yeah, it's use and throw. Don't hold on to the skin. Remember that example. Don't hold on to the skin or never try to eat the skin of the oranges and bananas and all that. Don't try. Yeah, you won't get an advantage of the even fruit also properly. Anyway, so this is Shastriya Dvaitam. Okay, Shastriya Dvaitam should be utilized properly. Guru, Shastra, etc. Even Ishvara also. Yeah, use Ishvara. But Dvaitam, Ishvara and Dvaitam. You are Bhakta, you are a devotee, and he is one who is, you express your devotion to them, to the Ishvara, not them, to the Ishvara. And therefore, Jeev Ishvara Dvaitam also is there. So, Guru, Shastra, Ishvara, etc., all you use it and then throw them out. Grow them out, not throw them out. Just don't be emotionally dependent on them. Initially, you should have an emotional dependence. You will be there. That's how I told you. It's a very good scheme. So, you have a right now emotional independence to the world. So, what the scheme is that to withdraw from withdraw the dependence on this Jagat, they say, take refuge of the cause of this world, and that is Ishvara. And therefore, resort to Ishvara. So, become emotionally dependent on Ishvara. That's what it is. Bhakta is what? Ultimately, any devotee is dependent on Ishvara. And then later, Ishvara brings a Guru in your life. And so be emotionally dependent on Guru. No problem, initially. And then, because Guru can handle emotions of the students, so nothing to worry about. And then, definitely that Guru also leads to the Shastra. Make you emotionally dependent on Shastra. And Shastra will allow you to be dependent on itself initially. Later, that also will go away. And so, this is how one has to do. So, slowly transcending. So, this is called use and throw policy is this. So, be free from emotional dependence. This is regarding Shastriya Dvaitam, right? Shastriya, Jiva Srushta Dvaitam should be kept. Guru, Shastra, etc. Everything needs to be kept. What about Ashastriya Dvaitam? Because two types of Jiva Dvaitam we saw, right? And so, Shastriya Dvaitam, regarding that he has already told. Now, Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, which is not Vedanta friendly, and what is it that he has to tell? And what is to be done with that, how to deal with that, all that also he will tell. Let's go to verse number 49. Ashastriyamapi dvaitam tivram mandamiti dvidha kama krodhadikam tivram manorajyam tathetarat. So, Shastriya Dvaitam promotes further journey. Ashastriyam pulls you from the journey. That's the thing. Shastriya Dvaitam takes you, supports, promotes towards moksha. Ashastriya Dvaitam pulls you from the path of the moksha. And so it has a retarding effect. And therefore, well, if it has a retarding effect, it has to be removed immediately, definitely. And therefore, our good and bad cholesterol, they always say like that, HDL and LDL or something like that. HDL is very good, etc. In fact, HDL has to be increased for the betterment of the heart, etc. They say also. And with the exercises and all, I think you can increase your HDL. It's also cholesterol. But LDL, should not be increased. I mean, if it has increased, you have to immediately pay attention, etc., etc. It should be reduced because it has a retarding effect to the heart. And that is how this has been told. So, Ashastriyam Jiva Sushtadvaitam api dvidha bhavati. Well, it is also of two types. So, first understand what he said from verse 38 to 66, which is the main topic, Brahmagnanena Jiva Sushtadvaita Nivrutti. He has already introduced two types of Dvaitam. Ishwar Sushtadvaitam, that is Ishwar Sushti, and Jiva Sushtadvaitam means Jiva Sushti. And ultimately he said Ishwar Sushtadvaitam should not be removed, need not be removed, and can't be removed also. Ishwar Sushti you cannot destroy it also, etc., etc. And it is not a botheration, etc. It doesn't bring a samsara in your life, etc. We have seen. Jiva Sushtadvaitam Nivrutti should be done with the Brahmagnan. He told from verse 38 to 42. Then in verse 43 he said, Jiva Sushtadvaitam, you better know. First, you have to be free from that, but it is of two types. First, to know that. One is a Shastriya, other is Ashastriya. Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, that we have seen, Guru and Shastra and Ishvara, etc. Initially you retain it because it will promote your journey towards moksha. So better retain that. Like a HDL. So it's good for you. So retain it. And Ashastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, definitely it is like LDL. So you have to remove it. But there is also of two types. And what are the two types? He says now in this verse. Tivram means, one is, both are creating problem. But one is creating a more intense problems, serious problems, and should be paid immediate attention to that. Like in a surgery, I told you, certain surgeries are, emergency. You have to do. I mean, the surgeon does immediate surgery is required, or sometime elective surgery. Elective means you can take a time appointment and then slowly, prepare yourself for that surgery procedure, etc. So there are two types of surgery. Like same way here also, Jiva Sushtadvaitam, Ashastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam of two types. One is a Tivram, means brings lot of problems, serious problems, and therefore should be paid attention to immediately. And other is a Mandam. Mandam means it is creating problem but not so intense. So you can start handling them slowly. Ashastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, Tivram and Mandam. But what is Tivra category? What is that thing which I would really like to know? To that Jiva Sushtadvaitam I have to pay immediate attention. I would like to know what is that. Kama Krodhadikam. So, Kama and Krodha makes the mind restless ultimately. Intense disturbance it creates. And person can't do Shravanam. When they are present here, you can't do Shravanam itself. But therefore, they should be removed immediately. Otherwise, you will not be able to Shravanam. No question of Mananam. Shravana itself cannot be done. Because they take the whole mind as a hostage. And therefore, you can't think of even attending a class. And even if you have attended the class, you manage to go to the class, that forced Shravanam, definitely focused Shravanam cannot take place. And so basically, this has to be paid attention to, means you should be free from this kind of a ashastriya jiva srishtadvaitam. This kind of means what? Tivram, which creates a serious problem, which definitely requires an immediate attention, and that is in the form of a kama, krodha, etc. And this is, they give an example of a babies, some babies are, most of the babies are, I think, of another category. Very agitating, very restless. And when mother talks to the other person, and then they won't allow to talk. They just don't allow to talk. You have to pay attention to them first. And then once you pay attention to them and satisfy them with the chocolate or whatever, toys or whatever, or some way, either you have to, total attention has to be paid to them. Otherwise, they will not allow you to talk to the other person. Same way, this kama and krodha also, will not allow the mind to pay attention to the shastra. And therefore, you have to pay attention to this kama, krodha. That's how Bhagavan called it Vairinam, right? Vairinam means it's a big obstacle. Vairi means Vairam asya asti iti Vairi. Vairam means enmity. So they are enemies. And they are not two things. Kama eshaha, krodha eshaha. So you won't find a dvivachanam. It's a singular. Kama eshaha. This is kama. This is krodha. So kama itself is a krodha. And that we know very well. See, the kama has of three types. One is a tamasic. So kama means a desire, right? So desire are of three types. One is a tamasic desire. Tamasic desire means illegitimate, immoral. It doesn't, one should not entertain even that desire itself. That kind of a desire. Second is a rajasic desire. They are legitimate, but they have to be brought to the moderation. Otherwise, they will take your life. So the second is a rajasic desire or kama, and the third is a sattvic. You need not drop them. In fact, they should be nourished. And so here word kama krodhadikam in the verse, that kama means the first two types of desire. It's tamasic and rajasic. Illegitimate desires and legitimate but not helpful for this spiritual path. Well, and especially a desire for money and desire for other things, desire for a power and this. Well, definitely those desires you can fulfill in a legitimate way. Definitely you can fulfill by working hard, etc. You can earn money, everything. But not good. So you should bring down to certain moderation. Because it should not be totally free from that desire also. Need not be, because they run the life, right? And therefore they sustain the life, money, etc. And therefore, it is good. And to an extent, all these things are required also, but then one should not run behind to fulfill all these desires. So they are legitimate, but still, definitely, they are, you should they should be brought to the moderation. Okay. So, the third is a sattvic desire, you should nourish the desire for more. People used to ask this question all the time. When you say kama should not be, then moksha kama is there. And this gnana, desire for knowledge is there, desire for shravanam is there, desire for sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is there, desire for puja is there, desire for japa is there. Desire for going to temple is there. What about that? So you said one should be free. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogata. So, all the kamas are given up and all that. So this kama also should be given up? No. They should be nourished. These are called sattvic kamas. Anyway, and once you drop these kamas, especially tamasic and rajasic kamas, you need not have to separately work for krodha. That's gone. You work for kama, krodha is gone. Because they obstructed a tamasic desire, obstructed rajasic desire itself is nothing but brings this anger. So, that's how, and there is nothing but other side of a kama only. So, need not be handled separately. That's how singular. Kama eshaha, krodha eshaha. And then, so Bhagavan also does not deal this krodha, etc. You won't find a discussion on krodha in Bhagavad Gita. How to control the anger. Bhagavan has never talked about. Bhagavan has talked about kama. That's for sure. Anyway, And Adi, Kama Krodha Dikam in our verse. Kama Krodha Adi. Adi means etc. Etc. means Lobha, Moha, etc. Greed, etc. That you can include. This is all Tivram. Tivram means they should be paid attention immediately in order to get removed, to be removed from your mind. Immediately they should be removed. So Tivra Ashastriya Jiva Dvaitam is nothing but it is in the form of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. Then what is Manda Ashastriya Jiva Dvaitam? Well, Manorajyam, it says, daydreaming, entertaining varieties of the fancies basically. Something like a window shopping. Swamis do window shopping. Going to Costco and going to Wegmans and going to, I'm trying to recollect everything now. Going to Giant. All this, just in order to see. Why are you going inside Swami? What do you want? I don't want anything. But what are the things available? So it's called window shopping. Manorajyam is a window. So I don't have much karma to buy, but just have a desire to see this kind of karma. So you see, Tivram means Kama, Krodhadikam, etc. And why you call them Tivram? Because it basically they get converted into karma. Whereas Manda desires, that is all the Manorajyam, fancies. But they are, those kamas do not get converted into karma. Fancies sometimes they just come and go. That's how, like building castles, we always say in air. You build castles in the air. So they come and go. You don't try to fulfill them. You just get up from the seat and let me now work in order to build that castle which I have seen in a daydream, etc. You won't. So that's how we call it as a mandam. Tivram means basically you can't remain without fulfilling it. And therefore such desires are Tivra Ashastriya Jivadvaitam. This is Manda Ashastriya Jivadvaitam. So here Mandam they are not using, but Tatha Itarat. Tatha Itarat means otherwise. One is a Tivram and the other is a what? Itarat means other one. Other one is Mandam. Dull, not serious. And Itarat Shabda, you should remember, it is a Takarantaha Napumsakalingaha. Prathama Vibhakti Ekvachanam, it is actually Itarat, etc. Itara Shabda is there. This is a Napumsakalinga, so Itarat Takaranta. It's adjective to Dvaitam. Manda Dvaitam. And which type of Dvaitam? Jiva Dvaitam. Which type of Jiva Dvaitam? Ashastriya Jiva Dvaitam. Okay? And therefore, Mandam Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. So he has explained, Ashastriya Jiva Dvaitam should be removed immediately. In that also, two types, Tivram and Mandam. And Tivram will be in the form of Kama, Krodha, etc. Mandam will be in the form of fancies, etc. Like that. Let's go to verse 50. In verse 50, we will explain how to handle these two Dvaitams. Ubhayam tattva bodhat prang nivaryam bodha siddhaye shamas samahitatvam cha sadhaneshu shutam yatah. Ubhayam nivaryam, this Tivra Shastriya Dvaitam and Manda Shastriya Dvaitam, etc. This Tivra Shastriya Dvaitam, well, it is called Ragadvesha in fact actually. These are different words. So because desire, anger and all this, etc. And so that definitely Ragadvesha only. And the other one is Mandam is in the form of restlessness of the mind, wandering of the mind, etc. So they in Shastra they are called Malam and Vikshepa. Tivra Ashastriya Jiva Dvaitam is called Malam and Manda Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam is called Vikshepa. So new names here. So big, we feel, Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, Ashastriya, and that two types. And so we feel that something new is we are going to know. Nothing. It's the same old wine in a new bottle. It's the same thing. Mala and Vikshepa, that's all. And Malam means basically it is Ragadvesha. And Vikshepa is nothing but the wandering of the mind. Mind wanders without even your having a likes and dislike. Mind just wanders. Everyone has experience. Need not be that he had a particular thing for which it has some dvesha or particular thing for which some raga, and around that only mind moves. No, mind just keeps moving, wanders. So that is also a obstacle actually. That is a manda ashastre jivatdvaita. And both of them should be eliminated. Well, shastre dvaitam should be kept, right? We have said. Ashastre jivatdvaitam should be eliminated. When? Tattva bodhat prak. Tattva bodha, before coming to Vedanta Shravanam itself. Tattva bodha means Atma Jnanam. So means Shravanam. Before coming to Vedanta Shravanam, you have to remove both this type of dvaitam. Manda ashastre dvaitam in form of offenses, wandering, etc. or restlessness, and tivra ashastre dvaitam, well, which is nothing but this raga dvesha. You have to make yourself free from this mala and vikshepa. Otherwise, the Shravanam will be compromised. Yeah. If you want a 100% Shravanam, total absorption of while you expose yourself to the Shastra and teacher, well, then these two should be absent from your mind, mala and vikshepa. So that's how ashastre jivadvaitam should be removed before you start gaining knowledge. And tattva bodhat prak, you can take it other way also. Before starting study of tattva bodha, right? That way also you can take. So tattva bodhat prak. Prak means before. And prak governs a fifth case. So before what? Before, then whatever is there will be, you have to keep in a fifth case. So these are the prepositions. Certain prepositions invite a certain specific cases of the words nearby. It's called upapada vibhakti. And so here this prak definitely invites a fifth case of the other word. So tattva bodhat prak, before coming to the Vedanta Shravan, etc. For what purpose? Bodha siddhaye. Well, if you want to gain knowledge, knowledge is moksha. Knowledge is moksha, because I don't know, that's how I am suffering, right? I don't know, that's how I am suffering. I should not suffer. I should not suffer at all. But I still am suffering because I don't know that I am free. That's how person suffers. Well, that's how we tell several times to the person, sir, at least don't grieve too much, because ultimately nobody dies and this and that and everything. But this fellow keeps on grieving and then because he says, well, I can't accept that I am free. I can't accept that I am free from the death, etc. And therefore the suffering is nothing but ignorance. That is what samsara. Samsara means ignorance, and then you create a big castle of all wrong notions about you. If you have wrong notions about the world, you need not remove, sir. Really. We die with a lot of wrong notions. How many things we don't know in the world? How many things? Even a subject in which we did a master's and PhDs and all that. How many things we know? We don't know, really speaking. And even if we have known, and before 30 years, so many changes have taken place in the same subject matter now. And therefore, if you know few things in the world, even if you don't know your husband, your wife, I mean, totally, still nothing is going to happen, I tell you. No, but you don't know yourself. It's a big mistake. It's, Puja Swamiji calls it a loss of infinite. It's an infinite loss. A loss of infinite is an infinite loss. This is how it is. Because you are infinite. And therefore, ultimately, both the siddhaye, both means jnanam. Siddhaye means for gaining ultimately this knowledge, and for gaining knowledge through the Mahavakya, etc. When you expose yourself to the Shastra, well, you have to handle these two. Which two? Mandam and Tivram. Ragadvesha, this Vikshepa and Mala. Or Ragadvesha and this wandering, etc. Has to be handled. And how to handle, he doesn't say. He leaves to us, He leaves that responsibility on us to find out how to handle both these things. And we know. We know basically. Suddenly it just gone. So both the Dvaitam should be handled properly. And the best solution is how to handle Panchamahayagnas. Best thing is Panchamahayagnas.
Swamiji, you are muted now.
You are muted, or you are not able to listen. You are muted, or I mean, just a minute. Now you are able to listen, right? Okay. So anyway, this Panchamahayagnas is a very good solution for this handling both the types of Dvaitam, Mala Vikshepa and Malam and Vikshepa. And so Panchamahayagnas means what? Religious life. And religious life means what? Life of contribution. Life of contribution means what? Contributing towards society, contributing towards family, etc. Well, contribution towards environment, contribution towards nation. All these are Panchamahayagnas ultimately. So, well, and how many years I have to do, Swamiji? How many years? Well, you depend upon one's Ragadvesha. Very beautiful example given by Bhagavan, while talking about Ragadvesha in chapter 3 towards the end, if you remember, Dhumena vriyate vannihi yathadarsho malena cha yatholbena vruto garbha tatha teneda mavrutam. Very nice. He says, depending upon your Ragadvesha, and for that, what type of Ragadveshas are there in different people? He gave example. Some of the Ragadveshas, let's take a person like me. I have a certain Ragadveshas which are very, very light. Let's take that way. And so, it is like a smoke. And so, just by fanning away, they go away. Dhumena avriyate vannihi. When the fire is, is covered by a smoke, you just fan. And then, well, the smoke goes away. Same way, some of the Ragadveshas are very light. I mean, they just go away just by simple thinking also. Then some of the Ragadveshas are like a dust on a mirror. Dhumena vriyate vannihi yatha adarshaha malena cha. Malena, dust. Adarshaha, mirror. So, the mirror is covered by dust. Then you have to wipe, you cannot just fan them. And so, basically, you have to wipe them out. That's some of the Ragadveshas may be like that. You have to put little more effort in order to remove it. And some of the Ragadveshas you have to wait. That's all. Keep doing Panchamahayagnas and Panchamahayagnas and Panchamahayagnas. they will go in course of time. That's how people ask. Sometimes they ask also. They get tired because they do lot of duties for the people, and still they find themselves all the time fraught with this kind of certain likes and dislikes, etc. So they ask question. And the best answer is this. Yatholbena avruto garbha. Garbha means that, the child which is covered by the embryo, etc. And so covered by the womb of the mother, etc. And therefore, basically you have to wait. You have to wait. Nothing, there is no way out. You have to wait till they go. So depending upon our Ragadveshas, we will have to spend a number of years, etc. Maybe number of lives, etc. Also depending upon that. But this is the only way to get rid of this Ashastriya Jivadvaitam, which is of the two types, Malavikshepa and Malam and Vikshepa, Ragadvesha and wandering of the mind. And so once Karma Yoga handles this Malam, then take care of wandering minds. Karma Yoga basically we have seen, now we should not see again, how Karma Yoga helps for Ragadvesha, etc. neutralization. We have seen that. And then once you do that, then work for Vikshepa, means wandering of the mind, etc. can be handled through Pasana. Meditation is very, very helpful to make your mind focus and to make your mind free from this wandering tendency of the mind. And we find such thing, their person may be doing a lot of social service and all that, and he doesn't have a Ragadvesha, etc. I have myself have seen one person, one organization here in Ahmedabad, working a very beautiful organization, and he is head And he all the time, his mind, morning to evening, thinks about people only. Starting from the people in the jail. Whenever that, Rakhi, that festival comes, so he thinks that, let's go with the certain, women like a sister, they will be like a sisters to the men who are held up in the jail because they had undergone some, they have done some crimes, etc. And therefore, he goes with them and have that kind of a festival, Rakhi festival, tying the Rakhi, etc. And so many things. So all the time he doesn't have anything for his own, and a shoulder bag, simple person, but such a big organization he was running here. But that person who was working, basically planning and implementing and about social services and everything, when he comes to the Swamiji's class, he comes sometimes. And as he comes and sits, he used to sit beside me. And within 3, 4, 5 minutes, he dozes off. So that shows that basically, even if you have removed malam, etc., raga, dvesha, etc., your mind is still not ready for the knowledge, right? And therefore, mind should be made free from the wandering tendency, etc. A mental makeup is required, basically. And so upasanas help. So Tivra Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam can be handled by Karma Yoga. Manda Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam can be handled by Upasana. And you can understand. So the whole Veda we have covered. So this basically Veda Purva Bhaga, which is nothing but a Karma Yoga and Upasana, will remove this Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, and then Jnanam, basically, that's also there is a Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, but Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, teacher will be there, Shastra will be there, etc., etc. And some other infrastructure will be there, all Dvaitam, but retain them. And once you gain the knowledge, then you can be free from that. So Veda itself makes you free from the dependence on itself. So this is how it is. Anyway, so sadhaneshu yataha shrutam, both of them have been indicated in this qualification of the students. So malavikshepa nivrutti. So sadhaneshu means, indicated in the qualification of the student, they have been indicated. Shrutam means shruta uktam. In the Shruti, where the sadhanam has been described, where the qualification, etc. has been described, there you will find a solution for this. One is what? Solution. Shamaha, the mind free from the malam, is called shamaha. It's indicated by a positive word. Shamaha is a positive word. Basically, mind which is calm and relaxed and etc., stress free. That's called shamaha. And so that has been told there in the Sadhana Chatushya Sampatti, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, you know very well. And Samadhanam means, it is freedom from Vikshepa. So Manda Shastriya Jiva Dvaita Nivrutti basically has been mentioned in the Sadhanam as a Samadhanam. Tivra Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam has been mentioned in the same Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti as a Shamaha. So that is there. So this word Samadhi or Samahitatvam is the same thing. Sometimes Samahitatvam, instead they use Samadhanam. Instead they use Samadhihi. Sometimes you find word Samadhihi. Don't get carried away by a term of a yoga, etc. Here Samadhihi is equal to Samadhanam is equal to Samahitatvam. Here in our words right now, I think it is Samahitatvam, and is equal to Ekagrata, focusing capacity of the mind, capacity to remain absorbed in a given topic, in a something. That's called Samadha. Means free from wandering, right? So free from Manda Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaita. Okay. So sadhaneshu means in Sadhana Chatushya Sampatti, Shrutau means in Shruti, these things are mentioned, where the sadhanam has been mentioned. Let's go to verse 51. Bodhadurdhvam cha taddeyam jivan mukti prasiddhaye kamadi klesha bandhena yuktasya nahi muktata. This based on Malavikshepa Nivrutti, I am just taking 2-3 minutes, not more. Based on this Malavikshepa Nivrutti, students are graded into 3 levels: Mandadhikari, Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari. And Manda and Madhyamadhikari, in the first 2 cases, well, Malavikshepa are not removed totally. So Jnanam won't take place. I will explain you the category. And even Jnanam takes place, person cannot be able to assimilate that Jnanam. And therefore, that's how, let's take a Mandadhikari. Mandadhikari means what? He is not able to do Shravanam efficiently. He says, I am here, but I am not able to hear. That's how it is. So, I am here. I am in the class, but I don't hear at all because the mind is moving around, right? And so, still in Sampradaya, Acharyas all the time encourage such kind of students. And they say you better exposed to the Shastra, better exposed to the teaching. Someday listening, grasping, etc. will take place. And this Mandadhikari I am talking about. And other reason also they give. Sit in the class because it is supposed to give you punyam, Shastra Shravanam. And Bhagavan also tells in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18 that even suppose person does this Shravanam and does not get any other advantage, but he will definitely get Swargam. So basically, minimum benefit of Shravanam of Shastra is Swarga. Maximum benefit of Shravanam of the Shastra is Moksha. And therefore, basically, ultimately it is in one's advantage. Anyway, so this is that person who has, handled Malavikshepa, well, Jnanam can be received. But who has not handled Malavikshepa properly, his Shravanam itself will be not in a proper shape. And then, then the other person, Madhyamadhikari. So in Madhyamadhikari, well, he has removed Ragadvesha to an extent. And therefore, he is better than that Mandadhikari. But he says everything is good in the class. In the class I am able to enjoy everything, Swamiji, every word I am able to enjoy. And I can even repeat also few things. But once I put on the chappals, well, everything goes away. And so this is Madhyamadhikari. And therefore, and that such person, when he goes home, his behavior, is so contrary to what he has learned in this class. Sometimes family members also makes a joke of him. That what you are listening there, what are you doing there? With your Swami, what are you doing there? Because your behavior does not show that you have really assimilated knowledge. This is a Madhyamadhikari. Anyway, means knowledge, he is not able to enjoy the fruits of the knowledge. He is a Madhyamadhikari. Mandadhikari is not able to receive the knowledge. Madhyamadhikari is able to receive the knowledge but not able to assimilate the knowledge. And Uttamadhikari is one who is able to receive the knowledge, retain the knowledge and assimilate also. Then anyway, we want to be Uttamadhikari. Okay, then wait for tomorrow. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.